So, deliver
Sound the same thing.
from my enemies. Slow my feet. It's cold. I know something. I am a child of God. I know something. I am a child of God.
I'll tell you what to do. That's it.
From my mother's you have chosen me. Call me. I've been born again to my family. Life through me. I know I am a child of God. I know I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I And of course, it's just about that time. We have Dr. Batson. It's time for the program Overcoming Health Issues. And we've got the man himself in the house with us. It's always a pleasure when we have him in studio with us live. And, persons tend to call even when we have replays in WhatsApp going. It's like, I need to get onto this guy to talk to him concerning the health issues probably because I didn't choose a ounce of prevention, so I need a pound of cure.
Mhm.
Good morning to you, Dr.
Good
Batson.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good.
Good, excellent, excellent. It's a pleasant good morning, as usual, to the listeners of Sky 99.5. Always a pleasure to be in your esteemed company, because if you're listening to me, well, that means I need to make sure that there's a reason why you should continue listening, right? Or at least learn something. Okay? You know that song there. I remember the first time I heard that song, the scripture came to mind. It's John 8:32. You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And I tell people of all the scriptures in the Bible that I love, well, is one of my most favorite, simply because, I mean, it's so reassuring. You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that applies to a number of things, and especially in regards to what we're discussing today, which is health. Because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know what to eat. They don't know what not to eat. They don't know what caused them to get sick. And if they are sick, regardless of the sickness, whether it's diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, whatever it is, depression, it's like they don't know. They just don't know. And therein lies, that scripture. You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So let's set some people free today.
Yes.
Right? So today we're going to discuss health. We're going to discuss inflammation, which is really what causes you to get sick. Any sickness that you have in the human body is as a response, or as a result rather, of inflammation, or what is referred to as inflammatory response. So we're going to discuss that today. We're going to touch, of course, on specific health problems. We're going to touch a bit on mental health, because that is always something that is foremost in my mind, especially with young people now, because we have so many younger individuals that that actually have to be treated for depression, anxiety, issues with insomnia. And the thing is, mental health is so important. I think it's something that the Caribbean now kind of playing catch up with, as opposed to countries like Canada, North America, even Europe and those other countries where, it's not something that is on the front burner for us, but mental health is very, very important. I mean, a lot of persons do not know that someone is going through an issue or someone is in crisis until it's too late. They commit suicide or, something like that. I know a lot of people would think, well, how could somebody actually reach so far to actually commit suicide? Especially if you're someone who, have a background, you have some level of spirituality, that kind of thing. People often wonder, well, how could it be that someone who has that type of knowledge, would do something like that? And, one of the things I often explain to individuals is that when your body or your central nervous system is not working the way that it's supposed to, there are things that you will do that after you do it, you wouldn't believe you did it. That's to tell you. We would have, of course, heard of what is known as postpartum depression. Postpartum depression, of course, after pregnancy. And that was even a topic maybe 50, 60 years ago. People didn't really know about that 70 years ago. Postpartum depression became a topic of discussion maybe within the last maybe 25 years, 20 years. But a lot of people didn't know what it was. So you have women who would have made children and, they would actually try to hurt the children and whatever the case may be. And again, that's something unnatural because a mother would always try her best to do, what is best for a child. But in a situation like that, just as what I was saying, when your central nervous system has reached a point where it cannot sustain the body, problems. And we're going to touch a bit on that because I often feel for people who end up in psychiatric wards and people who end up on psychiatric medication, because psychiatric medication is serious medication. I mean, it is could be considered, that would be considered controlled drugs, right? Like things like antibiotics and that type of thing. So it means that is not something that you get just like that. You would have to go to a psychiatrist. And of course, it would now be prescribed for you. So if you have a problem with sleeping, or because once you have an insomnia problem, once you do not sleep properly, and a lot of people do not understand what that means, lying down and sleeping and getting up doesn't mean that you sleep well enough. You know how you know when you sleep well? When you sleep and you arise, you wake up from sleep, you should feel as if you have slept.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? You understand what I'm saying, boss man?
Yeah.
You should feel, you should feel that has slept. And the reason why that is important is because sleep, the main purpose and function of sleep is to basically rejuvenate neurotransmitters in the body. That's primarily why you sleep. Fundamentally, it helps with, of course, renewing and repairing primarily the central nervous system, other organ systems as well, but the central nervous system especially. So most people, you might be going through a particular situation. They might go so far as to diagnose you with things like schizophrenia. They might go so far as to diagnose you with things like bipolar disorder. But you know something? That's not what you have, You have that. Because you see, the thing is, when your central nervous system is in a situation of want, it is in a situation of desperation. Remember, it's your brain you're talking about. So whichever part of the body has the most amount of, what we want to say, disadvantage or most amount of imbalance is going to determine the symptomology that you experience. I'll say that again. So whichever part of the brain, whichever part of the central nervous system is imbalanced is going to determine the symptomology that you experience. So it's going to determine, you know what schizophrenia is primarily? You're having problems with dreams. You start to get a lot of visions. You're feeling to, certain thoughts come in your head. Not good thoughts. You might look at somebody and feel literally to kill them. You might look at yourself in the mirror and literally feel to kill yourself, cut your wrist, or cut your throat. No, you're not. You are in a situation where your central nervous system is in a deficiency. And as a result of that, the body is not able to determine. Because remember, your brain is primarily subconscious and conscious, you know. You don't control your subconscious mind. Most people can't tap into that. That requires a lot of training, a lot of practice, a lot of meditation, deep breathing, a certain amount of balance, a certain environment, and that type of thing. Very few people have the ability to do that. That's why people who perform hypnotherapy, or what we learn, which is actually neuro-linguistic programming. So neuro is nerves, linguistic is language and programming. So essentially, we used to call it some years ago hypnosis, but the modern term now is actually neuro-linguistic programming, right? And the thing is, somebody having the ability to hypnotize you has nothing to do with your mental ability. Yeah? You could be very intelligent and you are able to be hypnotized, right? And that is, of course, where they're actually able. And that's what we call neuro-linguistic programming, because that actually helps you to tap into the subconscious mind. And of course, somebody who's trained would have the ability to ask you certain questions. So people who have problems with repressed memories, you may have been, have some situation with abuse, whether it's mental, emotional, sexual, whatever the case may be. And then the way the brain works, because it's trauma or traumatic, you take it and you throw it in the back. Right? And it's only someone who's trained has the ability to actually take that out of you. But the point I'm making is that requires, so the brain itself and your central nervous system does not only function on a physical plane. And a lot of people don't understand that. That is also a spiritual plane, what we call the supramental plane, which is your subconscious mind, the conscious mind, which is your mental plane, and then your vital body. So it's all the bodies actually involved in that. So I'm saying to you this morning, if you do not sleep well, expect yourself to have some sort of mental issue. Or let me say it this way. Expect yourself to have some form of nervous or nerve issue. The same applies to Parkinson. No. When you tell people have Parkinson and you're shaking, tremors, that is an indication that your central nervous system is in want. Something is wrong. Something is not balanced. Remember, the main objective of the human body is always to maintain what? Homeostasis, balance, equilibrium. You choose whichever you want to do. So once the body is out of balance, especially the central nervous system, expect any mark to play. And it really grieves me because there are a lot of persons who have come to us, who have come to me, and it was, yeah, I feel for them. I really, really feel for them. Because, and this is not me, understand where I'm coming from with this. I'm not criticizing medication, nor am I criticizing doctors, especially psychiatric doctors. But what I'm saying to you, there are a lot of persons who have been medicated, and really, that was not the way that I would have gone, me personally as a practitioner. Because had you identified the imbalances in the body, you would have been able to correct the situation. I always tell people, bring anybody who has depression. You bring anybody who's depressed for Batson and Associates. You bring them. Give me 3 months maximum, and you're going to get better. What makes it difficult is if you are heavily medicated. What we could do in 3 months on that heavy medication, we might be able to fix in 2 years. Look at the difference. And that is because medication, like most things, especially psychiatric medication, is brain altering medication. That chemically, remember, your brain functions on a lot of different chemicals, So what a lot of the medication really does, it interferes. So you have things like serotonin uptake inhibitors and different aspect, dopamine, things that alter dopamine in your body or increase dopamine. But the thing is, you might take medication to increase dopamine and you don't have dopamine. You don't have it. The body doesn't have the raw material to produce the dopamine in the first place. So you know what's going on with you? You're going to start to get all kind of dreams. You've seen all kind of things. And then they're going to tell you, listen to me. We have to take you to the doctor. You go to the psychiatrist and they say, nutrition is not really their forte. So they wouldn't ask you questions as regards to, yeah, I'm going in a serious topic here. Some people are going to be very upset. And some people might be glad to hear this information. But you know me either way. You like me, you can't buy me. You don't like me, you can't sell me. So it doesn't bother me, right? But I am saying this because there are a lot of young people, especially young women, that going through some things here. It's not nice. It's not nice. Right? And it even falls into the area of PMS, which is postmenopausal syndrome, because women who experience postmenopausal syndrome are women who have serious central nervous imbalances. Your central nervous system is not balanced. And let me tell you something, that is nothing to be ashamed of. That is nothing to be, for somebody to hold you and blame you per se, because a lot of persons end up in situations simply because they do not know. You don't know better. You see this thing they call sugar? Sugar, only know sugar is taste. But sugar is actually one of the main culprits as it relates to central nervous system imbalance. So all these sweet people out there, they like all themselves here. You can't see a fudge, you can't see a tamarind ball, you can't see a sugar cake. You can't see, oh God, it's the ice cream. Yeah. Now that I don't understand. I mean, ice cream is something, if it is you wanted to try to I don't know, ice cream is something, you ain't getting through that with me. I am not a fan of. When I was very young, but now it really don't bother me. I'm a fudge person, and there are certain things I just don't buy. So yeah, if it is I pass in Long Circular Mall downstairs, there's a place that they have some real nice looking things there. I just try and keep my head straight the next one. Yeah, just get stiff neck and just continue walking, because I know anytime I reach there, we're gonna have some problems. And that's the self-discipline sometimes that you just have to get for yourself, because you know your weaknesses, You know you like ice cream. You're gonna tell me you have a big tub of ice cream in your fridge. You get up 12 o'clock in the night. You might have a few worms that like the ice cream that you like too. So it's you and the worms like the ice cream, and the pathogens, because all the bacteria, any negative pathogen that you have in your body loves sweetener. So when you get up in the night now, if that's in your fridge and you open the fridge and you see this big tub of ice cream watching you, what do you do? Not calling him? All right. So don't put yourself through that. You like cake. You might be a currants roll. That currants roll is the next thing I don't go too close by at all. Yeah. But I like raisins, So I as a man don't go too close to currants roll. One and I good. I buy no box of currants roll and carry in my house. That's madness. Because then them currents roll, they start calling you in the night. Have a way that I tell you, the parasite, because you know the reason why you get a lot of cravings in the night? That is when the parasite and all the parasite and the viruses and all the bad thing in the body, them fellas up. They're hungry. They're roaming. So poor you might get up to pee, and you might get up, urinate rather, I should say. And you have a bathroom in the bedroom, But listen to me, them parasites are them so smart. You say, let me go outside. You're going outside, I might have passed by the fridge, or close to the fridge, or close enough that you hear the ice cream and the cake and the fudge and the tamarind ball and everything calling you. So I'm saying all of that to say, don't bite.
Don't bring it home.
Don't bring it home. Don't bring it home. If you bring a small tub of ice cream. Don't buy the big one. Bring a little one. Right? So maybe you get the urge and you eat one and that is the day. But when you start, if you have a whole tub, you might finish the whole tub. Ladies, especially as regards to persons who have problems with hormonal imbalance. Ladies, especially if you're on certain types of medication, if you take steroids, for example, things like prednisolone and those type of things, well, you could eat a human. If you might pass too close to you, might eat me, because those things increase your appetite. The same with psychiatric medication, things like cogentin. If it is you have somebody who has some problems with epilepsy, things like epilim and all those type, most of those medication make you very, very, very hungry, very to the point where you're uncontrollably hungry, and it causes the body for a lot of sugar. So that is something that you need to pay very close attention to. Keep in mind, of course, you're going to say something.
As you're on that thought, because I'm thinking the death cycle and I'm saying death cycle because it's almost like a continuous thing that happens. you're taking this medication for this particular thing,
Right.
which makes you hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Added to that, it does not fix the issue in terms of how you deal with stress and all these kinds of things, especially for persons who stress eat,
Exactly.
which
Exactly.
might just exacerbate the
Yeah,
situation.
it not just might, it will exacerbate the situation. I mean, before I continue on that trend, let me just say something quickly. Keep in mind, of course, we are live on our social media platforms. We are Batson and Associates Limited on Facebook. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. On YouTube, and on TikTok, we are Batson and Associates. Let me say, of course, a pleasant good morning to our social media fans. We have Miss Vidya Abdul, who always is with us. Miss Melissa Richards, good morning to you. Miss Elizabeth Mary says greetings and grand rising to you, Dr. Batson and Associates. Miss Melissa Richards says, oh yes, I'm definitely a child of God. Miss Heather Lawrence, pleasant good morning to you. Colonel Philip, good morning to you. Sherry Alexander, Oliver Joseph, Miss Kamala Samaru, good morning to you. Angela Barrows, good morning to you as well. For our followers on Instagram, of course, Batson Associates, TT, let me say a pleasant good morning to Chantel, 28, Cougar. Watch me, you see these Watch me, I was frightened to call all the name, they have some kind of name here, Island Kid. I feel this where people they just get a little explicit on Instagram, Loving Jesse. And then some of these names would be so kind of hard to figure out. Janice Clark. So again, a pleasant good morning to all of you following us. Keep in mind, like us, share us, follow the page, and of course, tag 5 friends. Spread the news. Keep in mind our locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That number for Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. We also in Davie as well. Davie is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Davie. Let me say, of course, a pleasant good morning to the my hardworking colleagues in Davie, Miss Roma, and of course, Miss Donna. Right, yeah, that's what I always call her wrong name. For those persons in Shogunas, of course, always working hard. And the consultants, Mr. Bastamante, Mr. Vialva, Miss Ramdan, and of course, Mr. Green. A pleasant good morning to you guys. Yeah, so Davie is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. Keep in mind, all our clinics are walk-in clinics, so you do not necessarily have to have an appointment. You can walk in. However, if you have intentions of doing that blood analysis that shows you what you think you know, because I always tell persons, your blood is the greatest witness. Watch when the big out sell out. It have no kind of scruples with that fella. Any question you ask your blood is going to answer. And blood has the ability to tell past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Let me go into that quickly a little bit. Well, let me finish calling the numbers. St. James is located at Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And of course, Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553. That's 226-4553. A pleasant good morning to our brothers and sisters in Tobago. I know we have a little situation with the boat going on right now, but God's willing, of course. They're working assiduously to rectify that, so we should be back as normal within the very near future. That number again for Tobago, 226-4553. A pleasant good morning to Latoya. Doing a lot there. Of course, Miss Pamela Moses, good morning to you. As usual, Miss Gillian Hope, a pleasant good morning to you as well. Keep in mind, if you are international and you need to get a consultation, we can do that for you. Nothing is impossible in this technological world that we live in. I am not performing surgery, so you do not need to be in front of me. That telephone number, of course, is 1-868-373-2388. Again, 868-373-2388. And of course, as I said, you can always get any additional information if you call head office, which is, of course, 222-8261. Again, that's 222-8261. We had a question, sir? Do we, as yet?
Not yet. Not
Okay,
yet.
you
Not
could
yet.
just remind the listeners of the telephone numbers to get through to ask any questions.
And if you have any questions for Dr. Batson this morning, you can send them via WhatsApp at 333-9950. That's 333-9950. And of course, you can give us a call at 625-2759 or 624-7729. That's 625-2759 or 624-7729.
Excellent. Right. So back to the discussion that we're having. So we're speaking about mental health. We're speaking about your nerves. So Trinidad and Tobago, the listeners of Sky 99.5, and all the persons listening to, let me say a pleasant good morning to Miss Hurst, who is out in Antigua. We also have Miss Remy, which is actually a client of ours. She is in New York, as well as Miss Jennifer Valentine, who is in Texas. There. Pleasant good morning to you guys. Right. So mental health. So people have a tendency, they use the word mad loosely in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's not something to really joke about. And as I said, especially younger children now, you would realize have more problems with depression as opposed to my generation or even my mother's generation or my grandmother's generation. And a lot of that has to do with the food that they have now. Because remember, a lot of these children now, their foundation nutritionally is quite poor, very, very poor. The Western medical practitioners don't pay attention to diet and diet ethics, which is a great annoyance to me. But I tell people, if you are not taking into consideration what you put into your body, then do expect your body to do what you want it to do. That's basically, that doesn't make any sense, right? You because a lot of persons, as I said, do not understand the link between nutrition and disease. And there's a serious, serious link, right? There's a serious link as regards to what we're speaking about with mental health. Let me give you a quick example. You're going to school, might be in university. The easiest place to get stressed out is university. People just go mad there. There's all kind of things that happen to you in university. Good things, some cases, bad things. The point I'm making, anybody studying is a very stressful thing. Some people may be more intellectually inclined than others, but at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. Even if you may be intellectually gifted, you have to put in some sort of work. Discipline and consistency is required, whether you're doing your bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever it is you're doing. The problem is, even your children with SEA, I feel sorry for some of these children, because the parents don't know how to feed them. They're not feeding those children properly, and then you have all this mental stress on them. And that's why these children end up sick. Then you have, whether they have CXC, they have the new thing they have now. What is CAPE? Yeah, we did it is they have CAPE now. Right. So in those types of situations, you are now mentally exhausted. So you're studying. And the thing is, most people are diligent with their studies, because your parents, you may be going whatever school you're going to, and you're diligent with that. But you're not diligent with what you're eating. So how do you expect your brain to work properly? And that is why a lot of persons, when they are under that type of stress, they do not augur well, and all sorts of things happen to them. Women get problems with their menstrual cycle. Yeah, I know people in university, when you exam your period ain't coming. Why? Because you're stressed. Once your body is sufficiently stressed, it is not going to function properly. You start to get problems with memory. You start to get problems with sleep. You start to become severely anxious. A lot of people have anxiety now. Panic attacks. You feel like your heart racing off, like you have a helicopter in your chest. And you cannot stay calm. You are literally frantic. You think that's you? That's not you. That is your central nervous system out of balance. The hard-working leaders, so managers, executives, members of government, you have a lot of requirements on you. And I am not, all you know me, I tell people I'm not in the politics business. I just try to remain as neutral as possible in most things, right? I don't really like too much argument and thing, right? So the thing is, to whom much is given, much is expected. So you are a manager or you're running your own business and anything, and that's why these people, no offense to some of you, that's why your health is in poor condition, poor condition. And the unfortunate thing with some of y'all, because you have a little affluence and you have a little money, you just go and get the wrong advice. Wrong advice. Because let me tell you something, if you have means, well, it's no self, you're supposed to be healthy. How you have money and you're sick? I just try for people to understand that, to explain that to me, because you have means. So and I'm saying that for you to understand. I'm not saying that only the wealthy would be healthy. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying, you're in a situation where financially you can afford certain things. Why are you sick? Explain that to me. Why are you sick? As the great Albert Einstein said, the only people who do the same thing over and over and expect to get a different result, that is the height of insanity. You're mad. You need to go and get your head checked. Because you cannot be doing well financially. But where is your health plan? And that's the problem with a lot of persons. You don't have a health plan. So if it's the body, because in order to function properly and continue to operate at the level at which you want to operate, whether you're a manager, senior manager, executive, because your workload is hard. I remember I tell persons that nerve restore, I made nerve restore for myself. I wasn't exaggerating. I am in a position like that with many other responsibilities that I have and that kind of thing. So people just want to know, Dr. Batson, no, you ain't go mad. Never. You know why? I make sure and take exceptionally good care of myself, especially my brain. I don't make joke with that. Because the requirements is a lot. You must things I have to remember. You must people I have to talk to today. You must things I have to write. Plenty. And that's not me alone. If you're in senior management, you're executive, you're member of parliament, whether you're senator, whatever the case may be, you're not a regular person. You know how much thing you have to read when the day come? Worse yet, if you're an attorney, if you're a magistrate, you have to understand what it is to take care of yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that. And we could help you do that, As I was saying, Nerve Restore I made for me. I made that product for me. I was the first guinea pig for that product. I had bottles that I used. I used that product consistently for 3 months before we brought it to market. And watch me, it is a success. It's still a success. Right now, we're out of stock. We get in next week, please go ahead. Because it works. Because one of the main purposes of the product is to help reduce stress in the body. So if you're a manager, and we're even talking about executives, so let's talk about housewives. You ever run a household? I lived by myself for some years. After that, I respect my mother utmost. You gotta wash clothes, you gotta clean. You ever clean a house? You ever get a child ready to go to school?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. You ever deal with little children, especially in the night when you want to sleep? So when you have all that stress to deal with, ladies, as a good friend of mine, I was telling someone yesterday. No, not yesterday. Sorry, I was in Shogunas yesterday. I was Shogunas Saturday and Wednesday, right? So we had some good days. We had people come who got results, whatever the case may be. And let me tell you something. When you realize how much help Nerve Restore have given person, there's a lady yesterday. She said, Dr. Batson, watch me. You have real good products, but you see that product, I don't do without it because it works. But the thing is, and you all remember giving you an analogy some time ago, you cannot have a vehicle and you're working the vehicle from Port of Spain to San Fernando, yet you're servicing your vehicle like you're working from Port of Spain to Barataria. Everybody know where Barataria is, right? In proximity to Port of Spain. Right there, maritime. Easy. If the road clear, you're reaching down the, that's like at 2 minutes. You reach down the road. But you're working mentally, psychologically, emotionally. You working like if it is you're working from Port of Spain to San Fernando. Yet the meals you're eating, the exercise you're doing, the meditation, the prayers, whatever it is you're doing, is as if you're working from Port of Spain to Barataria. You don't expect to get sick. You don't expect to get diabetes. Most of the people, or a lot of people, a lot of the individuals who get sick, your diet plays a significant role in that. Nobody is saying no. But a lot of the times, it is because of stress. And then some of you all, unfortunately, your doctors know absolutely nothing about nutrition because they cannot guide you. So you're stressed out because you have a high level position, and then you go, your pressure high, your blood sugar high, you ain't eating how you're really supposed to, but you ain't really bad per se, you know. But remember, you have a lot of demands on you. And poor you don't know better, and you're gone. You don't know high blood pressure, you know. Your body is so stressed. Your central nervous system is so deficient and imbalanced that your body is not able to function properly. So I always tell persons the most important organ system in the human body and the most important organ is your colon. The most important organ system is your gastrointestinal system, which comprises your mouth, esophagus, small and large intestines, that type of thing. The system after that is your central nervous system. And the thing is, that system works in conjunction with your gut, which is your second brain. In fact, they call your gut the second brain, but they're really supposed to call it the first brain. Because if your gut is not healthy, mentally, you're going to be in some serious, serious problems. I've proven it over and over and over again. So pay attention to that. So if you want help, you know, you might be stressed out. You figure, nah, boy. You might go to a doctor to tell you, hey, you have depression, you know. You have insomnia, you're not sleeping properly. Do not get addicted to sleeping tablets, please. Please do not do it. You are going to be in some problems and you're going to be very hard to fix. You're not impossible to fix, you know. And yes, Dr. Batson has used the word fix because you could get fixed. It's like a car, you know. We could fix you. That's what we study. Clinical nutrition, automolecular medicine, sports medicine. So you have the ability, there are things that you can do, but you have to follow a specific protocol. And the protocol is not hard enough because you're busy. But the thing is, the busier you are, or regardless of how busy you are, get sick now. Get sick. Everything that was urgent is no longer urgent. You know why? Because the vessel, which is you, because you had to do the work, you know. You had to do the thinking, you had to do the calling, you had to do the carrying, you had to use the manager, you solar business. Let something happen to you, go find out. Everything that was urgent is now going to be what? On the back burner. Because without health, you have no ability to do anything. Anything. All the clothes, the nice clothes you have, you can't wear it. The nice car you have, you can't drive it. You have a house like that, a 4-bedroom house with about 4 beds in it, big bed, and you can't sleep. That making sense? So it is always, think about it. It's always, we know what we're supposed to do, you know, but you don't get to do it all the time. You know you're supposed to get up early in the morning, you say your little prayers, your little meditation, if you could throw in a little exercise, you know, but sometimes the time. So the thing is, what do you do to stack the odds in your favor? Because let me tell you something. When it is you're that stressed out, you know what's the next thing that's happened to you? Is a few things this happened to you, you know. One, you can either start to get mental imbalance, and then you go to a psychiatrist and they tell you you're mad, they tell you you're bipolar and this and that. That is not what you have. Well, you're getting a name based on the symptomology. and based on your behavior. Remember, all psychiatrists or in psychiatric medicine, the only way, psychology is the study of what? Behavior, no? Nobody could go inside your mind and read your brain. Based on your behavior, which is tangible, they can now make a diagnosis of the intangible, which don't be correct all the time. You understand what I say? So based on the tangible, which could be seen, which could be observed, which is your behavior, they can now make an analysis of the unintangible, which is the brain. That's because nobody can see inside of your head. We're not talking about the neurological aspect of the brain. And remember, I was telling you, your brain is basically divided, or your consciousness is two types of consciousness, right? Your subconscious mind, which in integrative medicine we refer to as your spiritual mental. Yes, what is referred to as your supramental brain or your supramental. And then your mental is the conscious aspect of your brain. So if mentally or physically the body in itself does not have the correct, because neurotransmitters are produced to where? What are neurotransmitters? Brain messengers. Example, epinephrine, neoepinephrine, serotonin, melatonin, that type of thing. The raw materials to make that is what? Your liver converts amino acids to protein and protein to amino acids. What are amino acids? Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. In order to make neurotransmitters, your brain needs a proper supply of amino acids. So if your digestive system messed up, you do not have the ability to digest protein, which most people have an issue with, then you're in problems. You're spinning top in mud. All you understand what's going on there? So that's why I tell you, when people sick, like I had somebody in the office yesterday, and ladies have a whole set of problems. I said, girl, don't worry yourself, girl, I go fix you. She laughed as she watched me, she laughed. She's Dr. Batson, that's why I like you, you're real confident, I said, girl, in about 2 months, you go see, you go tell me something. I never forget this experience I had. Quickly. 2 of them, before we go and we take some calls again. There was this particular young lady who came to me. Her parents came with her. She's young, like 15 years. They gave me a testimony. I watched me. That child was in a state of affairs. I really felt sorry for her. Genuinely sorry. Because 15 years, you want your child to be up and buzzing, full of energy, full of life. She wasn't like that. She was quite reserved. And your eyes tell a lot, eh? Your eyes. And when I say your eyes itself, if you have the ability to, it tells you a lot. And I looked into her eyes and all I saw was emptiness. Emptiness. I feel, and her mother agreed, if it is we didn't intervene, she most likely would have taken her life or something. It was bad. It was bad. And I like when I get challenges like that. I say, no, you're going to get better. Menstrual cycle was in a mess. Sleep was in a mess. Mess. When I tell you mess. And I have sitting down before me a very, very concerned and troubled mother and a child who will know if she coming or going. And I say, okay, here are we going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And we're going to do it piece by piece. And Trinidad and Tobago, the listeners of Sky 99.5, in 6 months' time, we are a brand new human being. When I tell you brand new, menstrual cycle good, sleep good, even was able to do exam where they told her she would not have been able to do. She didn't do all, but she did specific ones and excelled greatly. So we ended up with a very happy mother who is now less concerned than her heart is, when coming to HR and how it is, right? And we have a young lady now who is able to continue her life. Excellent, right? Let me give you our next experience. And that's why I tell persons, I am not in the politics of medicine. I really not. I really not. I really do have time for it. Because people always tell you, when you go to the doctor tell you don't use herbs, if they're still talking that foolishness, well, my great grandmother teach me one thing. She said there were people who will always bray. Empty vessels make the most noise. Bray. You bray right away. We know our animal is bray. And I actually being very disrespectful here because I find that is nonsense. Do not speak about what you do not know. If you're custom cutting here, here's a barber. When you go by the people baking the bread and the hops, you don't show them how to do nothing because you know nothing about baking bread. I will say it over and over and over again. Medical doctors do not have any experience with nutrition. And the nutritionists are woefully, what's the word I want to use, boy? Ill-equipped to even handle nutrition. I tell you so. Because I see some diet sheets that is due for people. I want to know what you mean. You couldn't give me that to eat. Because on that diet sheet, you wouldn't last long. So stop asking people who are not trained in a particular field questions that do not pertain to their field. End of discussion. Nicely put. Good? So if you really want, so this is the next experience. This was a cancer person. This particular person they brought, a mature lady, she could be like maybe about 60 years. They brought her in a wheelchair. No, was she in a wheelchair, boy? Yes, they did. They brought her in a wheelchair. So they had to bring her. She came to Shavona's office, so they had to bring the person upstairs, whatever the case may be. And they had a problem with breathing. So they brought a test for me, a blood test. I said, but why? But I hear in the person's lungs, they're sitting down over maybe about 3 feet from me, and I'm hearing the person's breathing it. I'm hearing it. I said, but something wrong here? She said, well, yeah, she's getting problems breathing, whatever the case may be. I said, you did any CT, any MRI? No, they actually had a CT to do, I think maybe later on. Or they were trying to get a CT done in the hospital. So I said, I sounded them. I don't really sound people so, but this breathing have me concerned. It's like a hollow kind of breathing. I say something wrong with you, moms. This ain't sounding good at all, I said, all right, here we would. Started to get problems to breathe and things. So they got some lungs tea, they got some of the water, they got the silver or the mineral formula. We did a follow-up with them about a week after. They said she got some improvement, but the breathing was still bad. I said, okay. I said, what type of work you used to do? Eat well, whatever the case may be. So she confided that, she used to work some 10 days, she used to work CPAP and that kind of thing. I'll tell all you where this going, I say, serious? Say yes. I say, let me tell you something. You ever, work in CPAP, because you have people who just cut grass, whatever the case may be, that kind of thing. I say, you ever clean any drains in your life? She said, yeah, man. He said, clean plenty drain, plenty ravine, and that kind of thing. I say, all right. Now I'm even more concerned, because it means once you're dealing with that kind of environment, you are going to be inhaling certain things that are going to contain a lot of pathogens. What are pathogens? Bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, and those type of things. Listen to me. Exactly what it is I didn't want it to be is exactly what it was. You know what it was? Lung cancer. Lung cancer. The DCT, the check, it was already stage 5. So unfortunately, that person is no longer with us. Look, and I'm saying that I'm a pause reason, because I feel that one. So I'm saying that to say, Trinidad and Tobago, listeners of Sky 99.5, if you work in an environment where you interact with things like that, people who in auto mechanics, men, they're very, very, very hardened and they don't listen, right? Auto mechanics, welding, you're working gas station, you're a jeweler, you're a hairdresser, you're a nail tech. Ladies and gentlemen, even if you do not come to Batson and Associates, go and get a proper cleanse and see if you could clean yourself ever so often for me, please. Because you are calling cancer, and cancer is going to answer you. You're going to call. You're going to call, and it's going to find you. You're doing agriculture, you're spraying. Well, I don't think they use paraquat again. Do they, boy? I think Gramaxone. Well, I'm not too familiar, but I know they changed a lot of the chemicals that they use. Yeah, they have a lot. But let me tell you something. Even the ones they have, it's still bad. And even if you use respirator and those things, do you know the 3 ways in which chemicals enter the body? Let me tell you the 3 ways. Respiratory wise, or through the respiratory tract, which is where? Nostril, right? Inhalation. That's one way. The next way they enter is dermally, which is through your skin. And the next way they enter is ocularly, through your eyes. So don't think for 1 minute. Some people say, well, I work in an A place or B place, and I just work in the office. I'm not outside. Listen to me. The office have an air conditioned unit. And all air conditioned units get their air from where? Inside the room, inside the place, the building is outside it, pulling it from. So you are breathing that. That is entering your body via your eyes. And it is also, if it gets on your skin, it is going to enter the blood eventually. The palm of your hands, the sole of your feet, the mole of your head, your navel, the back of your knees, the back of your elbows is the easiest way. You want to see people could poison you? You don't know, you know. You take something that is chemical, and you put it in the palm of your hand and rub it, and leave it there and go and you'll see. Hospital will pick you up. That's why auto mechanics. Remember the long time they used to wash their hand with diesel? They have a fancy purple bacchanal thing now they're using too. That's and all you have to watch. So you cannot be involved in those kind of occupations and not taking care of yourself. You are going to end up, if you're a male, you're going to end up with either lung cancer, you're going to end up with prostate cancer. If you're a female, you're going to either end up with breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or stomach cancer. I am not. So whether or not you decide to come to Batson and Associates is not my concern. But take care of yourself, and that's the problem. All you don't do that. Or you'll be spraying for years and you never take a clean out. You're crazy. You don't drink water. You're mad. What are you doing yourself? Is a cancer diagnosis you're going to get? That is exactly what it is you're going to get. You are a woodworker. You doing woodwork. You know what woodwork is? You know what? Watch, man. You know how much pathogens in wood itself? So sawdust, that is going to, you not seeing that. Not everything, remember, not everything is seen, you know. But that's going to find its way in your nostrils, and it is going to kill you. Then, of course, we have to study COVID went. But all I really think COVID gone anyway. All I really think. So that are wrong. It are wrong. And let me tell you something. It is going to have all kind of crossbreeding between breed. Pathogens are pathogens. And pathogens have the ability. Remember when, excuse me. Let me put it like this. Let me see how I can do this quickly. So, my boy here, Lyndon, right? Yeah. So let's say I have the cold. Or better yet, let's say Lyndon have the cold. And Lyndon interacting with his wife on a regular basis, living in the same house. So Lyndon's wife end up getting the cold. You think the cold that Lyndon give his wife, and when she going on past that, you think it's the same cold? No, Trinidad and Tobago. You don't know what monster coming out of a person and be the. And I'm not saying this to discredit anybody or to make anybody look bad. I'm simply, that is basic pathology and virology and how pathogens work. They change. If you get the cold in January, you don't get the same cold in December. Your body don't build an immunity and a resistance to that. It's something else you get. And pathogens have the ability to multiply and change themselves billions and billions and billions of ways. You cannot control that. But what you can control is your body's resistance to fight those things. The colds that we have now are no longer the colds that we had some years ago. You know, a long time you get cold, they rub something and you get a little 2 tablets and you're good. You realize all the cold you have now is where you're getting. antibiotics. You know why? The colds and the viruses are getting stronger and they are less resistant to a lot of forms of drugs that they have. So a suspicious car driving through the neighborhood, people find a black X-Trail, looking a little suspicious. Next thing is because it's bandits playing the fool. But you don't know that there was in an X-Trail. They don't change the vehicle already. Then something else. So will you find them? Obviously not, because you're not looking for the correct vehicle. So the same applies to pathogens. So when they give you antibiotics, and then unfortunately, if you have a viral infection, well, God help you, because antibiotics cannot help you. Antibiotics are for bacteria. So if you get antibiotics for a viral infection, well, you're just making yourself more sick. You're mashing up your immune system. Because most of the diseases that we have now and the problems as regards to a lot of diseases now or colds is now influenza cold. You know what that means? It means that these colds are attacking your lungs, your respiratory system. So a lot of people being diagnosed with asthma, you know asthma. A lot of people being diagnosed with even tuberculosis, which tuberculosis is, you know, they have to do a particular test and a this and a that and a sort of fancy thing and a sort of thing for 6 months, which I'm in total disagreement with, because I've treated people with tuberculosis already. But you have to understand that you have to deal with the root cause of the problem. Pathogens are very, very smart. Pathogens were created beings. And therefore, they have the ability to do something known as pleomorphism. You know what that means? They have the ability to change their shape, their watchmen. They could even change the way in which they enter the body. So you could have had a pathogen or a virus that was, you remember when they had SARS? We had SARS, there was a time Ebola was. But if you look at SARS, COVID, HIV, what was the other one, boy? There are a few others. Those viruses, pathogens, I should say in general, resemble each other, you know. When they look at the structure, it's like one is Lyndon today in a blue shirt, next week in a green shirt with a hat.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So the
COVID,
yeah.
COVID, I think, was called SARS-CoV-2.
Correct. But when you look at the strains and if they break, if you look at it from the aspect of pathology and under microscopes and that type of thing, they resemble each other closely. Even HIV.
Yeah.
SARS, because remember when we had SARS, we didn't have, it wasn't one SARS we had, I think we had like about 3, right? Yeah. And then with COVID now, well, let's see what's going on. And then there's a next one they say that they find. But I mean, yeah. What they're saying that they find, they have way more than that, you know. Because you cannot control those things. When you see they get away, they get away. What is going to help you, your children, and your family is to boost your immune system. Because God, in his wisdom, when he created man, he knew exactly what it is he did. You know? There's a reason why women are supposed to breastfeed their children. That is to get immunity. And then your immune system is divided into different aspects of immunity. So, mind all your business. Gentlemen, the ladies, if you know you're working in oil and gas, you know you're working as a welder, you know you're an auto mechanic, you know you're the spray, you're lacquer, do not be cheap. You don't want to come to Batson and Associates, but stop allowing your cheapness to cause you your debt. Because that is what is happening to some of you. You can spend $100 to buy a cleanse for yourself. You have to be mad. Something had to be wrong with you. Something had to be wrong with you. You dealing with agriculture, you spraying, and you ain't taking a clean out, and you're not drinking water. You are going to end up with prostate cancer. You are going to go to the bathroom to pee a day, and you would not be able to pee. And they will have to call the ambulance for you. And there's a lovely device called a catheter, which men do not want any introduction to, because it's a very painful procedure where they have to insert something, and it depends on the size, because you have different size catheter, right? Listen to me. Men will never know what it is to give birth to a child. But let me tell you something. I get toothache twice in my life, and I thought I was going mad. Mad. I walk a house. I pace the road at night with a toothache because I had to go by the dentist in the morning. I never pray for 6 o'clock to come so fast. That pain was excruciating. Men, if you do not take care of your prostate and you get stoppage of water, if we could have transfer pain, I sure that wouldn't have been as painful as making a child. I tell you so. It is not a nice experience. And a lot of men having this problem with stoppage of water. And we could help you with that, you know. There isn't anybody that ever came to me with a prostate problem that listened, that didn't get better, you know. One of the best testimonies we have is a gentleman who came with a prostate 250 cc's. Ask anybody, you know what is supposed to be the volume of your prostate? Generally, 20 cc's. His own was 250 cc's. And it has now come down to 92. And you know what it is we did? We had to of the problem. Men, if you have a problem with your prostate, nobody is feeling you up again. It have things to check you. Stop being dotish. Because let me tell you something, that is dotishness and foolishness and stupidity. They say you mustn't tell people they're stupid, but I disagree with that. If you're doing stupidness, you're stupid. That is stupidness. We have too many things now to help you that you sitting now and pining away. You're seeing blood in your urine, you're seeing blood in your pee, and you sit down there and play stupid and then telling nobody nothing. That is early signs of cancer knocking. That cancer even knocking at your door. He's telling you, hey, brother, man, I am going to break down the door. If you do not, so if you don't fortify yourself and build yourself and correct certain things in the body, you're not going to win that fight. You're not going to win the fight. You're not. I do not get into the politics of cancer and chemotherapy and all that kind of thing. I don't get involved in that. I work with my patients as regards to the patient's request. If your request is a crazy, mad request, I will let you know, listen to me, this request you're making here ain't really making no sense, and I suggest you get our next doctor. No problem. We in fact, we agree to disagree. That's like your barber. You know, some people wicked. I do operate, so you know, you might go by the barber and you want a girl a rush me or a fade. And your head like a coconut. Yeah, you have a coconut head, and you want, that's like me going and play. You notice I have a ras, that's the reason why I got a ras. I have a big head. My head was big a long time. I grew into my head. You notice I have a beard, it's a reason why I have a beard. Because when I was a little better looking, if I have no hair on my face, you might be wondering what my sex is. So I grow a beard. So and mustache, I just keep facial hair for a reason. So you have to understand you, but the point I'm making, you might go by the barber and you might tell the barber you want a particular haircut and the barber just want to please you. I'm not doing that. I say, hey, watch me, you have a coconut head, it's better you take a bullet. Because you're not going to tell people I trim you. Because they will say you went by Batson and Batson cut your hair and Batson know your head big so and give you a bullet, right? When you should have got a little temper fade or something like that. So I'm saying all of that to say you need to know what is for you, but not everything is for you. But in order for us to know how we dealing with you and we correcting the situation, so that's why I say I don't get in the politics of chemotherapy and radiation. I am not getting there. I will say to you, that is your personal choice, and I'm working with you because regardless of what you do, whenever you are dealing with cancer, if you do not have a nutritionally sound program, you will not be successful. I am not going to argue that. I'm not going to correl that. I am going to discuss that. That is simple common sense. And a lot of these nonsensical doctors is telling you, well, eat where you want. You have arthritis? Eat where you want. You have diabetes? Eat where you want. You have high blood pressure? Eat where you want. You have cancer? Eat where you want. How that making sense? According to Elizabeth Mary, pay now or pay more later. That's why I tell people, if you think health expensive, try sickness. Think it's expensive now? No one's for a triple bypass? Go. Or they must do a little survey. Well, call a hospital. They might feel they're mad. Hello? How much for a triple bypass? How much for a kidney transplant? Well, don't talk about kidneys. I will say it and I will say it over again. Of all the organs in the human body, do not play with your kidney. It is the most unforgiving and deceitful organ that you have. Anytime you don't take care of that organ just leave you right there. You say, oh, you're stupid? Well, all right, I gone. Pack your bag and you gone and leave you right there. It is the hardest organ in the body to fix. Medical doctors will tell you, no, if your kidney bad, you can't fix it. If your heart bad, it has nothing to help that. Thyroids, no, it has nothing to help that. You have to do surgery. That is nonsense. That's nonsense. Kidney stones, it has nothing for that. So it has nothing for nothing. So mankind has come about so long. Look how long we exist. And we don't know how to help people with sickness. No. Last week when I did the program, I said, stop being left with the ball. So you understand that? Real people pick up that. You know? That was a nice analogy. You know? Yeah. The game finished, the people stadium closed, the lights off, and you in the middle, they holding the ball by yourself. Everybody leave here. That is the reality that you have to deal with when you do not make informed decisions about your health. I don't care who you are. I don't care who your doctor is. If you do not make an informed decision, in the final analysis, you is the one to catch. Yeah. You're going and take injection in your eye and you know you're diabetic and you go blind. Where did it expect to happen? Did it expect to see? How you could give a diabetic injection? How that making sense? Diabetes is a disease that has the ability to slow down your body's ability to heal itself. Remember last program, I said when you have diabetes and when you have diabetic neuropathy, if you can imagine a whole 4-inch nails, or you know what 4 inches is? That's plenty, you know. You can imagine a whole 4-inch nail going up inside of your foot. You know how far that gone, and you will feel it? Nah, Trinidad and Tobago. You rotting, and I mean that, all you know me. I'm not being facetious or condescending. You are rotting, literally rotting. So how are you fixing that? You could fix that? Of course you could fix it, man. The question is, are you willing to do the work to fix it? And a lot of times it's not the money, you know. It's not the money. It's just a little discipline and consistency. Yeah. We know the world that we live in, and I not in anybody's pocket, nobody in mine. But I'm a respecter of people and their money. My great-grandmother teach me that. She said, let me tell you something. If there's one thing I learned in this world, don't rob nobody, especially old people. You'll blight, you wouldn't see your way. Watch me. You're not going to see. I am not doing that. I don't do that to anybody. Ask people. I don't bring you in my office. Every week I want to see you. If you will be dating or something, I don't need to see you so often. I want you to come, sort out yourself, get better, and you do a little maintenance. Because I don't want a fixture in this month here, which means September 2023, and then I see you in 2 years, and then you come September 2025 or 2026, and then you're worse off than you was in the beginning. No, don't do me that, man. Don't do me that. Don't do me that. We give you a program. We teach you how to treat yourself good. But the problem with a lot of people is the maintenance. And apparently maintenance is a problem that they have in Trinidad on the whole, because even they don't maintain nothing here. They build it nice, and then 2 years it dirty, it fall long, it break down, it mash up. We have a poor maintenance, anything. We don't maintain nothing. We don't maintain road, street light, stadium, school, nothing that is maintained in this place. Everything just break down and mash up, and unfortunately nasty in some cases. And as a nation, that's something that we need to work on. Because I went in Port of Spain the other day and I was walking and I literally wish I could have levitated, because I find Port of Spain is so nasty and stink. It is dirty. That place has no right to be looking like that. And you walk in there, studying when I reach home to throw away our shoes, because I don't even want to put that back in my house. We need to do something where that is concerned. But I digress. But in any case, where you are concerned, you need to do preventative maintenance. Melissa Richards only saying, girl, I don't know if that is a good or right. Or she said, you're sure right about that, Dr. Batson. So that sounds like it's a good So preventative maintenance, fellas. All of us is men, we big people here. You have a wife. Make sure you're functioning male-wise. It have thing for your prostate. Watch me, it have thing for everything, you know. It have thing for your eye, thing for your prostate, thing for your kidney, thing for your liver. thing for your ladies. It have things for ladies. It have things for your boss, you know. It have, you know, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Have things for your boss. You find your boss not looking how it's supposed to look. It have things for that. Could be your hormones want a little adjusted. It have things for your hair. It have things for your skin. It have things for your nails. Yes, it have thing for thing. Hey, that's actually a good ad, boy. Thing for thing. It have thing. My question to you, it have thing for depression. It have thing for the anxiety. All we need to do is find out what? The root cause of the problem. You all remember some programs ago. I think that was one of the best programs I ever did, where I talk about secondary hypertension. But we don't have a doctor and all call me. I don't know the doctor. The doctor called my office. He said, Dr. Batson, let me tell you something. He said, normally I don't like people like you, you know. I said, oh, really? He said, no, normally I don't like all you. I said, okay, that's good to know. He said, but you see you, if there's one thing I could say about you, you know your stuff. Because what I was helping persons to appreciate, this doctor is a urologist. And I was talking about prostate cancer, and I was also talking about the hypertension aspect. And he said, I have never heard anybody explain the way you explain. You know why? Because I want, when I finish speak, even the smallest child could understand what I say. Because I could come here and I could give all your St. Mary's and Curacy, and I could give all of that to him. Well, I could get it. And I just mix it in sometime. But sometimes I always need a little more Valavantil. You understand what I'm saying? All are we big people here. Sometimes that is where there's need. So that you could understand that all I really want is for all it to get better. How it is you sick for 10 years, you're sick for 5 years, you can't walk, you're seeing good. No. Sickness is cumulative and progressive. You know what that means? You do not get debilitatingly sick overnight. All you who have arthritis in your knees, especially the ladies, you know, somebody asks, anything to make my boobs smaller? LOL. Oh, good. Yeah. All right. I'll answer that next week. Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying? If you're here falling, we are things for that. You feel your hair falling has nothing to do with your hair, you know. Your eczema have nothing to do with your skin. Your headaches have nothing to do with your head. That pain in your back have nothing to do with your back. That is acid. In order to neutralize that acid, you need a alkaline or alkalizer or a basic chemistry. The most readily available alkalizer in the human body is what? Calcium. Where is calcium stored in the human body? In your bones. In what form is calcium stored? It is stored in the form of calcium phosphate. Your bones are comprised of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. So when you are acidic, in order to save you, your body working overtime, your thyroid tells your brain your thyroid tells your bones how much calcium to release into your blood. So if you have things like lactic acidosis, and if it is you have problems with acid reflux, GERD, gastrointestinal reflux disease, and those type of things, what do you think is going to happen? Your body is going to start to pull calcium from the warehouse. When the warehouse doesn't have calcium in it, what is going to happen? The warehouse is going to start to fall apart. So with that being said, let me give you those telephone numbers and let's see if we can take some calls quickly. It is now 10:52. The telephone numbers to call and locations. We are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. That telephone number is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago, of course, is the Triangle Building. But Tobago is 226-4553. 226-4553. Of course, you can WhatsApp us, on 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And those of you who want to get information on the silver with mineral formula, with all those viruses that I was speaking about, especially with your good, nice little children that go into school now, keep in mind a school is the easiest place to pick up pathogens. Because you know, little children, they're running up and down, they're touching everything, they're hand in their mouth. Yeah, the easiest place, most of the time, sickness does always come from little children. It is the easy, because they're not as, they're not as cognizant as, not cognizant, sorry, they're not as, they don't really pay attention. You remember, it's children. So, the knowledge limited as regards to little sanitation and thing. Children. And children go in the washroom, they wash their hand, and there's a whole schoolyard of children, all of them playing, they're touching up one another and all kind of thing. You want to make sure your child have an excellent immune system. And we could do that for you at Batson and Associates. Proper thing. You have a child always wheezing, the nose running, the eye running. We have thing for that. I'm telling you, in about 2 weeks, that's gone, and it ain't coming back again. Once you follow the instruction that you give you. Find out about Santulan, the 7-channel detox. Santulan detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. And watch me, I'm not taking nobody away from the doctor. Let me make something abundantly clear. You could continue seeing your doctor. I not, feel no matter how much people in this country, you think I can see all of it? No. But what I will do is ensure that whatever you want to know, because remember, you are the patient, That's the problem. Now, the thing is, if you're a patient who not too sure, like the analogy I give you, where you want a gal to rush me, but you have a coconut head, so you're really supposed to take a ball, and I go say, here what? That haircut really ain't gonna take care now. Watch at this. Show you a picture or something. That is your head there, and that is the haircut there. You might say, yeah, boy, Batson, you really know what you're saying, Or we might say, well, here what we could do. You might change it up a little bit. You might need to get some of this. You understand what I'm saying? Because in some cases, you could negotiate, but some things are non-negotiable. That's like me and sugar. Like if it is your problem, I'm telling you, hey, sugar is very inflammatory. You need to reduce sugar in your diet. That's non-negotiable. If we talk, you have arthritis and with the coffee, non-negotiable. You like alcohol? Some people, some people drink for various reasons. Some people stress drink. They might be going through a divorce. And the person you're divorcing, you don't want to make prison, so you can't kill them, so you go drink. Because you don't want a murder charge, and we're not encouraging that. But divorce is one of the worst things you could go through in your life. Yeah. And who knows, I may be speaking from experience, who knows, But it's a serious thing. So with that being said, take care of yourself. So Trinidad and Tobago, the listeners of Sky 99.5, that is what we want you to do. Take better care of yourself. That's all I'm asking you this morning. And one more thing, before we take your questions, is to allow your brain or allow your mind to be like a parachute. If you jump out of a plane and your parachute don't open, what happens there? Exactly. So in that case, a parachute works best open, right? Your mind is the same thing. Your mind works best when it is open-mindedness. Because there are some people, unfortunately, they are closed-minded. The Bible talk about that, The Bible say you either have a sheep-like personality or you're what? A goat. You have a big horn. You don't listen. You're hard. You're stubborn. So know which one you are, if you're goatish or you're sheepish. And in this particular case, try and see you be a little more sheepish where your health is concerned. Because plenty are all here, goatish. And because of the goatishness, you're in problems. So you might need to change that a little bit. You need to adjust your diet. Because there are some people, like a lady told me, she said, Dr. Batson, I believe in eating everything in moderation. I said, I agree with you to an extent, but simply because it's going to give you problems. The coffee, somebody asked me the other day, but why is coffee bad? Isn't coffee a good thing? Coffee is a good thing. But it is a good thing in moderation. And of course, brand is important because there are plenty of coffee they get only until it's coffee and it's not coffee. But we wouldn't get into that. Right? Ginger good, right? Ginger is an excellent thing. Would you drink ginger every day? In large amounts? Aloes is a good thing, and aloes good for you. Aloes is excellent. Would you drink aloes every day, 5 times a day? No. Turmeric is good for you, right? Would you drink turmeric 5 times a day? So I think that's the best way I could put it for the people who believe that they could drink coffee every day or drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee every day and think it doesn't affect their body. That, ladies and gentlemen, is stupidity of the highest order. Highest order. Beetroot is good for you, isn't it? Would you drink beetroot every day? Garlic is good for you, right? Could make a little garlic tea, a little orange peel tea. But could you drink that every day? So I get the point, right? Good, nicely. Over to you, sir.
So we have, you can give us a call now at 625-2759 or 624-7729. Continue sending your WhatsApp messages to get onto Dr. Batson. Ask your questions at 333-9950. We have some questions. Someone says, good morning. Can you tell me what is the best product you have for numbness under the toes?
Okay. So if you're dealing with numbness, pins and needles, usually that's an indication of some sort of neuropathy. What is neuropathy? Neuropathy is nerve damage. But if you have a neuropathy issue, the neuropathy issue would have come from poor circulation unless you had done some sort of surgical procedure. Because most surgical procedures, depending on where the procedure is performed, it will do some damage to the nerves, especially because remember the cutting, right? Best product we have for that, I would say circulation tea. There's a product we carry called Balanced Circulation. That's a real good product. That we were out of that for a while, just at the advent of COVID, because the supplier wasn't getting the main ingredient to do the product. And then recently, like about 2 months, we started getting it back in stock. That's an excellent product. It works really good for high blood pressure as well. And of course, we have a new circulation tea as well, which we're going to have available for sale from next week, Wednesday. That tea is a really good tea as well, because what it does, it helps with the toning, cleansing and toning your blood vessels. If you're a diabetic as well, I always tell persons with diabetes, make sure you have some sort of circulation protocol or some sort of circulation plan to assist and prevent you from ending up with serious complications associated with diabetes. Okay, let me just answer this person quickly, Ms. Ramona Jackman. Do the eye optic formula, do you have that in stock as yet? We do not have it as yet. It is here. We're just waiting on clearance. So we should have it by God's willing by at least the end of next week, please God. All right, so you could always call the office, either one of the offices, and just give them your name. And as soon as it comes in, we're going to ensure that we give you a call. Okay. Yes, sir.
Another question. To use ground flaxseed to make bread and tortillas, will this be too much flaxseed to consume?
Repeat that again for me.
Using ground flaxseed to make bread and tortillas, will this be too much flaxseed to consume?
No, that'll be good. Flaxseed in itself is a excellent source of omega. It has a lot of benefits for sexual reproductive organs, both male and female. It's also very good for hormones as well. Very good for men's prostate. It's very good for women. Polycystic ovaries, healthy uterine health, ovarian health, that type of thing. So you can't really overdo with that per se.
Someone is saying you listed some of the jobs that need to do cleanses.
Mm-hmm.
Does seamstresses fall in that category or list as well?
They do. Seamstresses, the eye optics formula is something I usually recommend. The thing is that bottle is going to last you a while. Put it in the refrigerator, and you take maybe a drop in both eyes, one in the morning, one in the evening. The reason why seamstresses would have problems is because they deal with fabric, right? And fabric carries a lot of dust. There's an eye condition called pterygium, which is actually spelled with a P, but it's a growth that usually grows on the lens of the eye itself. The eye optics formula has helped a lot of people with that problem. The thing with pterygium, though, you usually find people who deal with a lot of dust would end up with pterygium. So masons, seamstresses, upholsterers, those type of individuals. So definitely as a seamstress, I would recommend some sort of cleansing of the eye ever so often, and as well as internal cleanse as well, because you're going to be inhaling that dust and those things. Because remember, let's say you sew 5 days for the week. You have 365 something days in the year. So we're looking at you interacting with dust 200 and something days for the year. Cumulatively, that's going to be problematic. And let me give an example quickly. There was someone that I met. I really, and this was a lady who came to us some years ago. But again, she came a little too late. That's the thing with cancer. Cancer is a funny thing. You have to catch cancer early. I mean, there are late stages of cancer that you could deal with. Bone cancer is a relatively easy form of cancer to deal with, in my opinion, and the experience that I would have had. Prostate is pretty easy to deal with as well. The troublesome ones are lung. You see, lung cancer and colorectal cancer. Them is the troublesome cancer. I don't even find pancreatic cancer that hard to deal with, depending on the stage that you get it in. But lung cancer is a troublesome type of cancer, simply because if the lungs are so compromised that you're not able to breathe, then it is difficult to help you. And then what happens to the lungs a lot of times, if during lung or with lung cancer, you could end up with COPD, which is where you have a pulmonary aspect, because your lungs and heart needs to get along very, very good enough. So then people like that end up with fluid retention. And when your lungs start to gather with water, it is some work. It is some work. It is a lot of work, especially when you're in the later stage, because it means now, if it's early, the diuretics could work. So if you come to us, I would work with you and work with you with the diuretics, because you would need the diuretics. So things like Lasix, Benadryl, whatever the case may be, to keep the fluid in the lungs low until the lungs can now start to function properly. And then gradually, when you go back to the doctor, a lot of the time the doctor take you off the Lasix because you don't need it again. But it would only be problematic if it is you're at a point where they have to take you in the hospital and take out the fluid. Because in a case like that now, you are always in a case of emergency, because you can't even lie down flat. You can't lie down on a bed and sleep. People who have those type of problems have to sit up and sleep. Good. So that is something we could help with. All right.
As even thinking inside of that, some of the chemicals that are on the fabrics that they would be dealing with.
Correct. Well said. Well said. Yeah, because yes, I was making a point. There was this particular person I dealt with some years ago, and they actually used to do tie-dye and batik, and they eventually got lung cancer. There was somebody who, and again, they came, we did some good work, and she was of good spirit. She was really a fighter. But the thing is, it was so deep in the tissues, because what this person used to do, they used to make preservatives. And a lot of the times, I mean, it's not like if they were being unsanitary or anything like that, but I mean, once your hands wash. But remember what I was telling you about your hands. Remember, your palm is one of the most absorbent parts of your body. So what they used to be doing, remember things, when you're doing preservatives, so like red mango, preserved plum, that's why too much of those things not good to eat, Because remember, that has a lot of preservative. That have things like sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and those type of things. Those are preservatives. So because she was doing that for so much years, she used to do pepper sauce and all those things. You inhaling that, And you take that for granted because that is your work. But the body was literally, watch me. That was a really sad case. And again, if it is she was doing intermittent cleanses, it would have helped the situation. I'm not going to criticize, obviously, any company, oil company or whatever the case may be. Our health and safety in Trinidad and Tobago needs serious addressing. And I'm not even going to get involved in that. However, and that's what I tell you all rather, in the final analysis, you as the individual, you have to mind your business. I'll tell you all something quickly. I know of an incident with someone who died from throat and lung cancer. And you know how they died? Being on a construction site for about a year or 2 years. The office that they were in was getting all that dust. And they complained of coughing and certain things. And it just got bad and it got worse after a while. Dirt is a very nasty thing. All you know that, right? Dirt is a nasty, nasty, nasty thing. As much as it is good, it is a nasty thing because it has the ability to house or host a lot of what? Pathogens and microbes. So when you work in an environment with dust, so that's why I tell masons and people working on construction sites, you need to cleanse yourself. Do you know that women, it has been statistically proven that women who work in gas stations and service stations are 65% more likely to suffer from things like hormonal imbalance, polycystic ovaries, fibroids, infertility than women who do not work there? And what I'm talking here is not Spanish. That's common sense. You cannot be working in an environment, all the people who work in oil and gas all the years. Go and find some of them people. Now. The majority of them not here. They're not here. And it's just because they may not have known to take better care of themselves. Or ever drive down by the cement factory. Or ever see what the trees by the cement factory look like. You could imagine working there. I don't care what respirator you have on, what mask you're wearing. That is getting into your body. Some of that is going down inside a day, brother and sister. It is going to go down in there. And if it goes down in there and your body is not prepared to deal with it, you could end up with a cancer diagnosis. You're working in a shipyard. All you know what people in shipyards do, right? You all know to clean ships, especially the underneath of ships, they have to use strong, strong chemicals to clean that because you have a lot of barnacles that stick to that and they need to clean it. It's serious chemicals they use. You are going to end up or could end up, unfortunately, with a lung cancer diagnosis. All of us is big people. One of the things we opened in Londonville, Godsville, in there, is Detox House. And that one of that is going to be specifically geared to just to dealing with people with specific aspects of detoxing and that kind of thing. Because the World Health Organization has said that this generation, I always tell people, is the first generation in human history that will bury their children on a mass scale. Let that seep into your head for a little bit now. And all these young children you have, and you're giving them all kind of manner. You see, when you're young, once you're living in my house, you have to eat what I give you, you know. I'm from old school, you know. We don't play games, you know. When you reach a certain age and you're working on your thing and you could take care of yourself, then you'll eat foolishness. Not in my house. There's two things happen. Police will come and hold me, or you will starve and dead. I am not going through that. As the adult, I know better than you. Don't tell me no nonsense about it. That's the problem. That's what's going on with them. And too much of everybody have human rights now. When I was small, we didn't have no human rights. You get your cocktail, you go and lie down and understand what it is, where your grandmother and them was coming from. And we didn't come out bad. I ain't come out too bad. And I get licks. I'm not saying you gotta beat children and abuse them. Of course not. I put on my hand on nobody. I just gotta watch you. Or they hear why this talk. For the time I watch you and I talk, you think you will not ask me anything again? You want to sleep in the yard? I don't tell you what is what. That is what you're eating. That is what I give you. Eat it, go in your bed and sleep. I don't want to hear nothing. That's the problem. These children and now have too much of privilege and they're spoiling them. Long time we used to get sweet drink what? For Christmas. Well, they're buying sweet drink for children every day. And then your child is 200 and something pounds and is a diabetic and is 16 years and you did with your hand in your ear and telling, coming in my office and talking stupidness for me and telling me about, well, we know the diet and is a child. You're talking stupidness for me. Don't come to me with that. I am not the doctor for that. Go to our next doctor who's going to give you insulin, going to give your child insulin to take. And then by 22 years, you have a blind fat child. Plain talk, bad manners. Because that is the nonsense that they're doing now with these children and talking foolishness, but they don't like this and they don't like this. Children is to do what parents tell them to do. You don't tell me what you don't like this and you don't like how this tasting. I mean, yes, we know children. And the thing is, you need to kind of have a little intelligence when you're dealing with little children. It have fruits naturally sweet. You could go and get some pawpaw and blend it up. You get some jello, the unsweetened jello that have nothing in it, and you mix the jello with something natural. You grind up some or blend up some pawpaw, some grapes, make sure and take out the seed. You have to know to fool them a little bit because you're going to end up in a situation. You know, it's the youngest client I have with a colon problem. I'm treating An 8-year-old, you know, an 8-year-old boy for Crohn's disease, you know. All you know is Crohn's disease. Just imagine you have an 8-year-old child. You're 8 years. You're supposed to be running about in the yard and playing and enjoying your little 8 years. You in the hospital, and they start to give you prednisolone because you're going in the washroom about 5-6 times a day and you're passing blood at 8 years. And the hurtful thing about it, it is the parents that is responsible for this child. This thing I see people buying big bag of snacks for you, all you're mad or something. People still doing them strippiness. Mix it up. Avocado in season. If you had to mash it, you had something. Have ways to get children to eat sensibly. Some of y'all, if you need to go and take a cooking class, because apparently some people cannot cook, because a woman tell me how she don't like how quinoa this taste, you can't cook that good. I said, well, ma'am, you can't cook. Plain talk, bad manners. You cannot cook. You might be able to cook other things, but you can't cook this. It have YouTube. After God is Google. After Google is YouTube. Go on YouTube and look. See how to make A, see how to make B. Because in the final analysis, that is your child. And you will have, because your child is always your child. That will never change. So my child worries is my worries. And I have enough worries. So you're going to eat what I give you. If you have a problem with that, well, I don't know. As my great-grandmother used to say, either eat it or you lay down close it. Yeah, the great Octavia Batson. You either eat it, and what my grandmother didn't used to play, you know. Solid woman, you know. You got a lash on your back, you fly, you know. Disciplinarian of.
This was a stick.
Yeah, this is right there. Long time when we had to take cooling. My grandmother used to give us 9 days of cooling. You get 9 days of aloes. You have a little piece of aloes, line up.
Yeah.
And it have a belt right there.
Yes, right.
Yeah, don't give me no troubles. Swallow it, you know. It's that time I play stupid and I swallow and I going back. Man, it's because I don't know she right behind me. One lash. It gone down. I ain't dead. This little good, the little goodish skin I have now is because of that. All the little coconut oil. I remember going to school, I greasing down with cook. I used to be so mad. Watch me, you're walking in the sun, you're shining, you know. You're shining. When you reach the school, they call you greasy. Yeah, and I had some kind of thin foot day. So when you see the shine down that in that pants day, you can't miss you. Yeah, but the thing is, it worked. So all you need to implement some of that. Get a cleanse for your child. And we were supposed to do a whole cleanse promotion for the August vacation, but we didn't get to do it. But of course, there are a lot of parents who came. And the good thing about Santulan is that children could go to school and use Santulan. Give your children a cleanse. Somebody worm out. There's something we'll be doing. Well, let me not talk about that yet. That'll be from next month, please God, as regards to specific worm outs and that kind of thing, because we find it had some people, Santulan was working, but some of them had some, them worm and them wasn't Congory, boy. Yeah. That wasn't Congory. You know what a Congory? Them worm was Macawel, boy. So, all right. Any more questions?
Yes, we do. Somebody's commenting here, Dr. Batson, you are hilarious. I'm doing some sewing here, but you have me weak, can't focus. But on a serious note, you're speaking facts.
Yeah.
Let me see. We have some more. Can you repeat the name of the brain food, please?
The brain food? What brain food is that you're talking about?
Nerve Restore, I think.
Oh, Nerve Restore. We also have something called Cerebral Formula. Good product. What Nerve Restore is, let me clarify quickly. Nerve Restore makes you sleep properly. What does that mean? When you take Nerve Restore adapts and reduces cortisol. What is cortisol? Cortisol is the stress hormone in the body, right? So it means now, what that does is that it actually now facilitates sleep. So it doesn't make you sleepy, you know. But when you lie down to sleep, Trinidad and Tobago, the listeners of Sky 99.5, once you use the product properly, the sleep that you thought you was getting, that you thought was sleep, I tell you wasn't sleeping good. I have some guys that is work with me on some projects. They came by me recently to pick up something. So them fellas, I'm tired because they're working because we have some things to finish off. I say, boy, I'm a nerve restore there. Now, I'm watching my bottle of nerve restore cookie here because I open it, I watch it. I was like, well, you only look like you're about 20 yeah. That's all right. But them fellas and them, they work in them. So I take out 4, put it in one thing, 4 in the next one, and I get them. I saw they use that and I'll go tell me how it work and thing. Watch me. Friday. This Friday gone here. Them men find themselves by my office in St. James, you know. Watch me. The fella said, Dr. Batson, watch me. You tell me that and I didn't believe you. He said that is the best I have slept in a week for about the past 10 years. Just 4 nerve restore days. One every day. And the thing is, if it is your body is dehydrated, it will still work, but it will work 100 times better. You'll notice I always tell y'all, let me touch on this topic quickly. People will say that, like this lady told me, herbs don't agree with me, you know. Every time I take herbs, I just feel sick. I say, all right, Mary, come, let me talk, sit down. Let me explain that to me. What are you telling me there? She said, Dr. Batson, I tell you, every time I take herbs, I just feel sick. So I said, what herb you drink? She said somebody did give her, what was, boy? I think it was stinging nettle. And she drink it and she said she swell up and thing come out on her skin and she get a headache and all kind of thing. I said, all right, where else you take and it didn't agree with me? She said, not even vitamin C doesn't agree with me. Somebody bring a vitamin C for me, some extended release thing, expensive. I take 2 and my head started hurt me. I started feeling nauseous, like I want to vomit and thing come out on the skin. I said, all right, yeah. So watch me. So I given that Mary don't know, you know, but I given Mary rope to hang herself. Yeah. I said, all right, go ahead. Talk. I said, where you take again? She said, that product that is be talking about, that omega, I take that. And everybody said that's so good and it just help with pain. I take that, I get more pain. So all right, Mary, again your rope, hang yourself. Anything again? Drink okra water, she gets sick. Watch my dying, you know. I said, look how Mary hanging herself and she don't know. Get she rope again. I said, anything else? She said, yeah, somebody tell me drink some charcoal. I take some charcoal. I feel sick. Oh God, well, I vomit and nearly dead. My pressure going up. I say, all right, Mary. I say, don't hang yourself. I say, you know what is wrong with you? Tell me something. How much water you just drink? She watched me. She said, I said, the mere fact you are to wonder so you're not drinking enough water. But how much water you just drink? She said, boy, I don't really like water, you know. I said, bing, 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 bing. All the lights come on in the house. I say, all the lights come on. I say, you, Miss Lady, your inside so dirty. Think about it. People don't understand. If you're dehydrated, you cannot, and the thing is, you could be drinking a lot of water and your body does not absorb the water, which make it even worse. Yeah. So imagine they give us Frederick Street or the whole Independence Square to wash down and give you 2 buckets of water and say, look, wash the road with that. You're wasting my time, your time, and everybody's time. That makes no sense, right? So what you need to do is flush out the system. That's why long time your parents used to give you cooling before you get a cleanse. Yeah. And let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. The listeners of Sky 99.5, I am not a boastful fella. I just try to boast in God. But let me tell you something. If you want cleanse, if you have a problem with halitosis, you find your perspiration problem, something, nothing is right with you. Your ladies, you find, you know, hygiene-wise, something wrong. Let me tell you something. Something is not necessarily wrong with you per se, you know, but you're looking for the answers in the wrong places. Scent in the body, perspiration, you sweat. If you're getting an off kind of thing with that, that have nothing to do with perspiration, that have nothing to do with your sweat. That is internally. You have 7 channels of elimination: kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Your lymphatic system is the system that cleans your circulatory system, but your lymphatic system does not have a pump. Your cardiovascular or circulatory system has a pump, which is your heart. So when you have LOTA, when you have eczema, ladies, we like to see the skin looking nice and thing. When you see you have little blotches and they tell you about age spot, that has nothing to do with age. That is your internal compass telling you, hey, we're going off, boy. We need a little calibrating. And that is why I tell persons that Batson Associates, what we do for you, we just fix you, you know, but we also do preventative maintenance. I do not like to be sick. I do not like pain. I don't listen to me. I am the worst sick person. Take what I'm telling you. Ask anybody in my house, they will tell you that. The worst sick person to deal with. I hate to be sick. You hear I tell you about toothache? I tell you, I walk up and down, you know, till it was 6 o'clock when that dentist opened to go for them to deal with the teeth for me. You know. I thought I was going mad. I have never experienced like pain like that in my life. So I could imagine people who have diabetic ulcer and who are 1 foot and who are arthritis and your blood pressure always high. And how will it is make out? How will it is make out? How will it is make out? So I'm saying to you, Ms. Frederica Joseph says, yes, Nerve Restore is magic in a bottle. After working nights for 19 years, it regulated my sleep pattern. Thanks for a great product. All you hear that? That's Ms. Frederica Joseph. You could go right on Facebook and see that comment. I ain't pay nobody, me ask nobody to say that. The products speak for themselves. And one thing I will say, because it's 11:23, so I know we time coming a little close. I'd have some little 1 or 2 questions. You see the money talk? Let me explain a little something. If you come, I just saying, I don't call price, I only know that. Your consultation is one price by Batson and Associates. But let me tell you something. If water more than flour, because everybody went through COVID, we know what happened with COVID. COVID have a lot of people still catching themselves. So fair is fair, right is right. Let me tell you something. If I just say $300, even $200 by Batson and Associates, I am telling you, you're going to get some kind of results. If all you don't believe me, I dare you. Make sure you get some alkaline water, the teas, some of the teas that we have, and depending on how your situation is, you could take up maybe a Santulan, and you will tell me something different. So don't figure you have to come by Batson with $1 million. We could always do blood analysis and think after, depending. Now, that don't apply to everybody. Yeah? We have to know exactly. But I'm saying to you, because I always tell you, there was this particular lady, she used to come, that was in Tobago. She used to come and get stuff for her husband. And every time she see me, she's smiling. Nice lady. She said, Dr. Batson, I'll come and check in about saving up some money. I said, girl, where's your problem? Because I seen the ankle looking as swell. She said, my foot, I suffer from poor circulation and ting. I said, girl, what money you saving up? Well, I want to save up money to get the scan and the blood. And I said, what are you doing that for? If we had to do that, we could do that later on. I said, yeah, what? How much money you have? For this particular case, I would say, she said $300. I said, okay, here what to do. 3 bottles of alkaline water, 1 pack of Santulan, and make up the balance in circulation tea. That Trinidad and Tobago, listeners of Sky 99.5, was about 4 years ago. You know, up to this day, that lady, she did the blood analysis, I think later down. She good as gold. She said, Dr. Batson, that's the best. That morning I talked to you is the best. I said, no problem. Problem solved. So don't feel it's $1 million you're coming to spend. Don't feel so. And the final analysis is better, as I always tell people. The old people have a saying now, ounce of prevention. My great-grandmother teach me that. Again, the great Octavia Batson. I owe almost everything I am today because of that woman. Right? Wise. An ounce of prevention better than a pound of cure. Always remember that. Always remember that. Because let me tell you something. That ball, you don't want to be left holding the ball. Yes, sir. Any more questions?
Someone is saying, I have been using advanced chlorophyll for about 3 months. Is itchy fingers and skin in any way related to the detox effect of this formula?
Yes, it is. You would. So I don't know if you did the chlorophyll alone or if you use alkaline water and the Santulan, but if you're using it for that period of time, a Santulan would be recommended. Because what the advanced chlorophyll will do, chlorophyll has some detoxification properties associated with it. In fact, most things have some aspect of detoxification associated with it, but it depends on the organ and the organ system that is going to really focus on. Because you would always want some sort of cleanse that involves the lymphatic system. Remember what I said? The lymphatic system is the system that actually cleans your circulatory system. And then you also want something to involve your liver. Your liver is a major organ of detoxification. Your liver has over 500 functions. And it is, even though it is the most or the easiest regenerative organ. It is the organ that could give you a lot of problems, like fatty liver. I was just reading an article that was published, where that was, boy, was that in either New England Journal of Medicine or some one of those journals recently. It was published, I think, like about 2 months ago. And one of the things that they were talking about is how fatty liver is not as simplistic as people make it out to believe. And I always tell clients that, because people come to me and I say, you know, you have fatty liver, and they say, yeah, the doctor tell me that, but they say that's okay. I said, no. Fatty liver is about 2 minutes from cirrhosis of the liver. You know what cirrhosis of the liver is, right? You know, people who have that generally don't live. Those are alcoholics, right? But you could have a liver condition, which is a fatty liver, which is close or very close to cirrhosis of the liver just by excess use of dairy. People who like plenty cheese, you like plenty butter, you like plenty ice cream, plenty chocolate, and not the dark kind. But you know, some people find that dark chocolate too bitter because the percentage of chocolate in that is much higher. It doesn't have any sugar, less sugar. Some of them fancy chocolate is only sugar you have inside of there, you know. So when you consume those things on high, you like a lot of greasy food, a lot of oily food, a lot of fried food, means that the liver is going to be affected. Remember, your liver is the organ that deals with the emulsification of fat as it relates to bile, with the emulsification of fat and where bile is. So if it is, you find the liver is lethargic or the liver is not as functional as it should, then you're going to have some problems. Okay? Any more questions?
Someone says, Doc, I have a big problem. I had a fibroid when I was a spring chicken. Now I'm a yard fowl and have 4 more fibroids. How effective is the formula that you have? I would like to speak with you directly. Can I have your number, please? Now came from church and just had my Satulan.
Hey, you know, came from church and have a Satulan. We heard the number. Contact the 314-9975 number. 314-9975. But that uterine formula is a very good product. In fact, the new formula that before the product, it was fibroid and cyst formula. We did over the product, and the product is now uterine formula. And ladies and gentlemen, we getting some testimonies and some photographs. We getting testimonies with photographs, so they're not just telling us it. And let me tell you something, ladies, that's taking out all kind of thing out of you. All kind of thing. Because a lot of people do not know that that is really a uterine detoxin. That's how the product was designed. So once we detoxify your uterus, because most women who have fibroids, in fact, not most, all women with fibroids, polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, and the like, you would realize when you do an ultrasound, most of the time your uterus is enlarged. So if your uterus is supposed to be, let's say for argument's sake, because I can't remember off the top of my head, let's say your uterus is supposed to be about 25, 30 cc's. I just saying, I have to check it. I don't know off the top of my head. And your uterus is now 50. It's the same situation with the gentleman with the prostate. What you all think causing those things to get bigger? It is because it has other tissue, it has other masses in there that is making it bigger than it's supposed to be. That those masses are essentially rubbish. And that is what you need to deal with. Okay, so that number again is 314-9975. That's 314-9975. You can send a WhatsApp to that number and I will make sure and contact you. The office numbers, again, now even though you can call today, someone will call you back tomorrow, please God, when the office opens. But even during the week, the telephone number again, Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe. The telephone number for Debe is 223-7515. That's 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. My marathon day for St. James, my open clinic day, as in me, Dr. Batson, is going to be Friday, this Friday. And Shogunas is going to be Wednesday. But keep in mind, those clinics are always open clinic days because we always have a consultant there, right? Tobago is Triangle Building, Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553, 226-4553. I know someone was asking about the eye optics formula for Tobago. Call, they should have. Trinidad is what doesn't have, but I know Tobago is supposed to have. Okay, and again, for international consultations, area code telephone number 373-2388. Again, 868-373-2388. Yes, sir.
Someone says, to make flour from steel cut oats, will it be easy on the digestive system when used for making bread?
Yeah, it would. I mean, the thing is bread. Okay, let me see. Let me make sure I don't slap myself in my foot or my head rather, by saying this. Bread isn't necessarily bad. Isn't necessarily bad. The problem with bread is that most people do not eat proper types of bread. So remember, the less processed your food is, the better off you are. What does that mean? Processed food is usually devoid of fiber. So if you make proper bread, put a little raisin in the bread, you put some oats in the bread, you may get maybe spelt flour, coconut flour. You may have to use the regular flour for the binding to take place properly. Again, I tell you, do research, have YouTube, go and look out how to bake things and do certain things. So that bread with more fiber is bread that is going to be better. And then because you have like the easy kale bread and those type of bread. Now, of course, those breads are going to be more expensive. Just like if you make a normal dull bread with normal flour, whatever, butter, whatever, oil, whatever you put inside it is used to make a bread. But then you know you're eating it. But if you make a little investment and you buy a better flour, you include your grain, you include your, because people say, because bread we know is an easiest thing to go towards. And I am not a fanatic when coming to nutrition. Anybody, I don't starve anybody. Anybody will tell you that. I don't starve people. You have to just make healthier choices as regards to what you are eating. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Someone is saying, how will you treat those growths you get inside your nose?
Now you see that one, those are very difficult. Those are the nasal polyps. In most cases, if you have nasal polyps that are pretty large enough, you're going to have to go the surgical route. You see, the thing is, if you have problems, because people with nasal polyps are people who have problems with sinusitis, they use a lot of dairy and that type of thing. So you end up, that passage is always blocked. And in the early, if it was in the earlier stage, what you could do now is you do your nasal rinses and you clean. You could use even the silver with the mineral formula is a good thing. You have the saline solution and those type of rinses. So if you know you have a nasal problem, that is something you should do. But once they reach the point where they are nasal polyps, and they're pretty large, you would have to go the surgical route. But what you could do subsequent to that now, there are things that you could do. Castor oil is actually a very good thing to put in your nostrils. You mix the castor oil with the coconut oil and you put it, but you don't know, remember your nose there? So you don't know how you're putting it in there. And you know, that also helps to prevent. Remember, castor oil is one of the best penetrating oils it has. You know? It is the best rubbing oil, you know, and I've known that for years. I use in castor oil years. To drink it, you need to be careful and not too much an advocate of that. In certain circumstances, I would recommend it, and it would have to be a specific prepared formula for someone who may be dealing with a particular issue. It is not something for everybody. Not everybody could drink castor oil. That will turn you up, some people. You don't know what you're doing. But it is a rubbing oil. And I always tell men, you know, you want to make sure and take care of prostate. I don't care if Flower saying this, you know, we might all the castor oil might sell out. In fact, there's a very good. That's something that we're going to start to have very shortly, because I sourced a very good brand. All you know me, I don't play with those things. And let me tell you something, men, that is a very good thing to rub by your prostate and by your male organ. It is a very, very good thing. You know why? That will actually help. I don't care if Flower saying this, you know, Linda. I wonder if I should say it by. I should say it, you know. I should wait until I get the oil, you know, because our oil coming there for here, you know. Yeah, but that is going to actually help your erection, eh? So, you know, fellas, they just hear that and that is it. It's sell out.
Yeah, that
But it is actually a very good thing to remove debris and that type of thing from your lymphs.
Yeah.
Ladies, it is also very good for your breasts, but just do not put it on the nipples of your breasts. On their arm, it is a very good thing to prevent you from getting breast cancer, which they actually diagnose. They normally call that breast cancer in situ, you know. So it's something to really keep the lymph nodes and all those blood vessels and various passages in the breast very clear and clean That's how women end up with breast cancer. You just need to get one little blockage in one of those passages, and that is it. Remember, once you have blockages, it means oxygen is no longer available to the cells. And that is going to cause stagnation. And once you get stagnation, that is what Western medicine calls cancer. That's what it is. To do that. So, I don't know, I ain't trying to be facetious here. I don't know. You massage, he massage you. I don't know. Something could happen. Yeah. Something could happen. I ain't taking no Godfather role. I already know.
And of course, they're saying that proper hydration is important when using it.
Yeah, of course. Drink lots of water. Drink lots of water, and you'll be very happy. Very, very happy.
All right. I see we have a call coming in. Caller, good morning. You're live, dear.
Good morning, Dr. Batson and the other Mr. there, Dr. Batson.
Yes, morning.
Program from start to finish.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Yes, I wanted to find out how often you could take the, Lord, you'll have to get the name, the baking soda.
Oh, the baking soda. Well, okay. So, all right. So you can listen. You can listen off the air. I'll answer for you. All right.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome, my dear. Yeah. Okay. Baking soda. So baking soda come back into the discussion again. One of my favorite things. Of course, moderation is very important. I normally recommend a half teaspoon of baking soda in 8 ounces of water first thing in the morning. Why first thing in the morning? Baking soda is an alkalizer, but it is also, most importantly, an oxygenator. And that is what makes it powerful. So the thing is, if you are hypertensive, initially, if you use too much, it could elevate the pressure. But that doesn't mean it's not working. That means it's working. So what we do, little by little. So a half teaspoon in 8 ounces of water. You could do it every other day. You could run that for a month. You rest a month, then you go again. And you do it like that. It's a very good preventative method for a number of things. Take what I'm telling you. I'm going to try to find that research paper, because right now we're doing some work on our social media platforms. We're doing some work on our websites and that type of thing. So we're going to actually start producing a lot of content for you guys. And I'm going to find that article. There was a study, a clinical study, and this was a triple-blind placebo study, which is the gold standard of studies. And these were some doctors in Italy. Italy actually has some very, very good doctors. And they actually did this study with baking soda. And listen to me, if you see the results of that study, it was impressive. So that's another thing. When some of these doctors telling you, but there's no scientific evidence to support garlic and listen to me, all you need to tell them, you didn't read the book or you didn't read the study, but there are studies. There are a lot of studies coming out of Germany, and Germany has a very, very rich medical. Let me tell you something. They boss. The Scandinavians, places like Sweden and Switzerland and that type of thing. When you look at the type of medicine that these people doing, so that's why people who only believe that Western medicine is the only way, that's quite unfortunate. That's a Caribbean and American thing. Plain talk, bad manners. Because if you look at the Asian countries, look at Malaysia, Indonesia, China, those countries, and they're very steeped in Ayurvedic and medicine, where you understand the world is going in that direction, because people are understanding now that your human body is just not a physical body. It's not just a physical body, and the body requires. Look, acupuncture. Could anybody seriously discredit acupuncture? Bring anybody for me. You know what? You know when acupuncture became relevant? Which president was it, boy? I can't remember the president off the top of my head. It was either Nixon or it was it Kennedy, boy? It's either Nixon or Kennedy. One of them fellas went some way and ended up very sick. When I say sick to dead, they're frightened. And listen to me. He ended up bouncing up this person. I think one of the aides did know somebody. And they say, well, here what? I know this thing. I think there was in an Eastern country. And the doctor say, well, take some acupuncture. Watch my man. When they was finished with our president. And that is how acupuncture became Americanized, where it came to the Western world and people realized, because we know acupuncture is an Eastern tradition where they actually take needles and they're actually able to train them. I have some training in it. I haven't done it for quite a while. But where you deal with certain pressure points in the body. Because you see, the human body, God in his wisdom, before we finish, did a magnificent job with the human body, you know. Magnificent, you know. There is something known as mapping and cross-mapping of the human body, which Western medicine does not know. You know what cross-mapping is? Cross-mapping actually links the different organs and show the overlaps with different organs. So that's why I am not a fan of surgery, and I will never be a fan of surgery. Emergency surgery, no problem. Your ovaries and your hysterectomy is mapped to your central nervous system, and that is why when women remove their womb, they come in issues. Now, a lot of them do experience it one time, you know. But somewhere down the road, you're going to have some sort of anxiety, depression, hypertension, or insomnia. Check yourself. All ladies who did a hysterectomy, especially if you did a total hysterectomy, I am sure if you do not have hypertension, you ain't get it yet. And I'm telling you, that hypertension was caused by that hysterectomy. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. We do mapping. We know your eye. It has something known as iridology. Your eye, the iris of your eye could tell me a number of things about you. If you was in a car accident, I could tell you was in an accident, and I could even tell you the year you was in the accident. The human body is an amazing thing, amazing thing. The problem is people have to understand you have different doctors for different times, and you have different doctors for different needs. That's all. Simple. It's not matchmaker, anybody. I am not a surgical specialist. You want to deliver. You think you could come by Batson? I can't deliver no baby for nobody. I'm not a midwife. I do not know about that. Different doctors for different times. You have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have cardiovascular problem. You want help? Come to Batson and Associates. You have fibroids, you're getting problems to conceive, you and your husband married, how much yours and all thing going on and nothing happening. Check Batson and Associates. And we gonna tell you something. So it is now 11:45. How is my time going? We are finished?
We have some time.
We have some time still. Okay, good. Any questions?
We have another call.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you hearing me? Just want to give some problems some time.
Yeah, we
Yes,
hear
we
you.
hear.
Right, Dr. Batson. Cross mapping. Good morning, Mr. Paris here. Cross mapping you're talking about. That is a business that I'm in. I deal with trauma and a lot of stuff in people. And when they do surgery and the trauma is introduced to the nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
to the enteric nervous system, there is a lot of long-lasting effects.
Yes.
2 years after. And it can be balanced, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It can be balanced through the meridian alignment of the body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you literally, you did a hysterectomy, and you find that you can get the system to believe that the wound is still in place.
Mm-hmm.
Still in place. By the nervous system.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing, because I felt I was alone and crazy in this.
No, you're not at all, man. You're not at all. You're not at all.
And also maybe because you have to your place still along level. I committed here.
Okay, good, man. Good. I appreciate that. Take care, man. Take care. Yeah, and that is almost advanced high science, eh? And yeah. I was fortunate to travel to China. The Chinese teach me that, you know. And the university I went to, which is an integrative university that deals with quantum medicine. And you realize quantum is a word that's coming up a lot. Because even Western medicine realizing that anything that is on the cellular level is able to heal the body. It heals itself from the cellular level. The body does not heal itself from an organ level. It cannot do that. It has to heal. Cells give you tissues give you organs give you organ systems, and organ systems give you the body. So it therefore means, even with that mapping, as the gentleman so eloquently put it, as regards to meridians and different aspects of the, well, in Ayurvedic medicine, Ayurvedic they look at what they call chakras, which is basically what the Chinese referred to as different aspects of your prana, and they look at different things. So the wording might be just different because it's different languages. They're dealing with Chinese and dealing with Hindi. But in terms of understanding it in the whole aspect, it is a serious thing. Even as it relates to mental health, as I was speaking about earlier, with things like neuro-linguistic programming or hypnosis, which is something I love, but I just don't have time to do it, and I need to sort of sharpen up my techniques a little bit. But it is an amazing thing because they actually use it with helping persons with eating disorders. So people who are bulimic, people who suffer from different types of depression and different, because a lot of people, especially when you have mental situations where we were speaking earlier about with the central nervous system not being able to do certain things and that type of thing, what you are actually now able to do is cleanse the body emotionally, psychologically, even spiritually, yeah? And in doing that, you free the body, which is like grounded. I believe in grounding. If you know what grounded is, that's why you have to ground any house or any building is grounded. There's a reason for that. The human body is also, it has electrical charge. There are some people who are seriously affected by frequency, cell phones. There are some people who cannot make a call on a cell phone. They end up in an emergency room, and ambulance had to pick them up, and that is because their frequency is already so messed up that when they are now exposed to these different 5Gs and 4Gs and all these Gs, it actually significantly interferes with how your body functions. God forbid, if you have if you're having problems with your heart, if they feel your heart going dead, what do? Is I electric shock to come back to life. So the body is electrical. When people sit down, that foot detox that we do, let me talk about this. People talk about foot.
Actually, just asking about it.
Yeah. People just say about that in good. Really? Come to my office, sign a paper, go by an attorney, and I go let my attorney review it. You sign and come and say, come in by Batson and Associates and take a foot detox every hour for a month. Let me see how long you last. You last, I'm telling you, by the third day, the hospital will pick you up. Because everything has polarity. There's our next thing. You learn in science, physics. Everything has polarity. Good? Toxins have positive polarity. So if you have to take toxins out of the body, what type of polarity you have to use? Positive polarity? No. Opposites attract. You have to use negative polarity. There is something that all of us just talk about and everybody know. You know about charcoal? Notice with charcoal, the charcoal that you have to use is what type of charcoal? Activated charcoal. Activated charcoal has what charge? A negative charge. Exactly so. It ain't no maths and, I mean, there's a little maths and physics, but this thing ain't hard. It ain't hard at all. So what the machine does is produces a negative charge. The largest pores in your body, you could go and research it, is going to be under your feet. I now understand what my great-grandmother used to tell me, because I get one or two lash for that. When she used to tell me, don't walk barefoot. Do not walk barefooted. Well, when I say that, because she was very particular as to tell you where you're doing that. You walk barefoot. When you get up in the morning and if you go and you stand up on concrete, you know what's going on there? All that coal going up inside of you. Because that is your feet. So what the machine does is creates a negative charge. And it is so you are going to lose electrolytes when you do that process, which is why we give you the silver or the mineral formula to drink. And usually when you do it, just a lady was saying that Wednesday when she was in the office, she said, Dr. Batson, that foot thing you all do there. She asked me, she said, what does this do? I say, well, that is what this does. Boom, 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 boom. She said, I sit down there and I literally feeling like if things pulling out of me. That's what it does. So that's why I say people will tell you it's hook and it's this and that and all kind of shippiness. No problem. Come and let me see. Let me do 100 and let me see how long you last. I'm telling you, it works. That's what it does. All right. In fact, let me say this quickly. One of the things they realized is, was it in the Himalayan mountains, boy? They had these religious, were they monks, boy? And they had gone on this retreat for a period of time. And where they went, it had a lot of hot springs. Now remember, hot springs have specific minerals in them. And then because of the heat, it would actually give you that negative charge. What they realized is that when they were bathing and they were sitting down in it and what kind of thing, some of these monks that had arthritis and little pain and little, they realized, oh wait, we're feeling good, man. Same principle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, we do. Someone says, good morning to you. Educational and informative as usual. Does the Nerve Restore and Silver have an expiration date?
Does Nerve Restore and Silver have an expiration date? Yes, they do. Nerve Restore, you're looking at silver with mineral formula is going to last long. Now, the thing is, let me say something. I don't know how I'm saying this. The law, basically, there are all products supposed to have some form of expiration on it. All. The thing is, the law gives you a specifics. In all honesty, what we always do is that your expiration date is supposed to be really 6 months or a year before the product actually expires. And the reason for that is that if somebody uses it subsequent to that, they don't end up in problems. When you have different compounds, certain things, and then because of how some of those products are prepared, where they do not use fillers and those type of things, you just put it in your refrigerator. The silver, once you keep the silver outside, it is in a dark place, you don't have a problem. You can use it. Okay?
Someone is asking, what do you have for high blood pressure and nerve problems?
Nerve Restore, inflammation formula, high blood pressure, balanced circulation, circulation T.
We have a call here. Caller, good morning. Okay, we lost that one. Let's get to another question. Let me see. Someone says, Dr. Batson, my breast size has increased badly from fibroid injections. What can be done? It's a serious malfunction, and at the sides and along the bra strap, the santolan I need, and the alkaline water as well. She's trying to get some of it.
Oh, okay. Just do me one favor. Go over. She said something about the breast size.
Yes, the breast size increased due to fibroid injections. What can be done? It's a serious malfunction. Also, she's getting some, I think, is swelling along the bra strap area as well.
Whoa. Well, the thing is, that has to be some sort of hormonal situation because they would have given you. So most likely she would have done some sort of hormone replacement or some sort of therapy, and as a result, you're going to have to contact me. The 314-9975 number, 314-9975. Send a message personally to that number with your information. Well, of course, we see the number and I'll get back to you. But you're going to have to give me some more information. I'm going to have to know the injection, the name.
All right. Someone, I think they heard when you talked about LOTA and they asked what causes it and what is the best treatment for it.
The thing with LOTA is actually fungus, and it is primarily caused in some cases by Candida albicans, but Candida is a family, and Candida has different types of or different strains of Candida. The thing with Candida is a miserable thing, miserable in the sense that it is a little difficult sometimes to get out of the body, especially if your diet is one that, you have to change the diet together with the protocol. That's why I always tell you all, we can't put in good here and then put in bad here. We don't make any sense. So in a case like that, yeah, exactly. So the thing is, you have to understand these pathogens. You'll notice I gave you all an analogy about the night. That was not an exaggeration, Pathogens are usually nocturnal. So when you're sleeping, them fellas crawling around in your belly, they're looking for food, And if they're not getting food, they're going to wake you up. Hey, we hungry. Eat something. So in a case like that, you're going to have to use the silver with the mineral formula. Because I used to have LOTA really bad, and I had the fat LOTA, right? But that time I didn't know about drinking water and all those type of things. It's gone now. I don't have any LOTA again. Completely gone. And that's because I use silver on a regular basis, and I also use the santolan. Remember, santolan is 7-channel detox. So usually any skin condition is a cry from the liver, is a cry from the gastrointestinal system. In some cases, a cry from the lymphatic system. So you would need to balance those. And once you do the period of time, but what you also have to take into consideration is that all pathogens have life cycles and they would have to lay and when they put the egg. So it means the entire protocol must cover that entire life cycle so that you get rid of all the pathogens.
Yeah. All right, let's get some more questions in. We have just about a couple minutes again. Let's see if we can get another question in there. Good morning, Dr. Batson. Can you tell me how often to use the remedy with coconut oil and the castor oil for the prostate? Next question, is castor oil good to use as a purge for an adult to prevent prostate cancer?
The thing is, as it relates to you normally take 1 tablespoon and you mix it with 1 tablespoon of compressed compressed coconut oil. So that is the fancy oil, right? You mix that, you heat it a bit, obviously not to burn you, and then you rub it in the area. So you rub between your legs, your prostate itself, and the upper portion of your groin there, which would be like just where your pubic hair would usually end in some cases, or maybe very close to your navel. It's also a very good thing to put in your navel too, because it does. And again, that's mapping, because then when you look at different nerves in the body, that's actually a central nervous system. So you have like your vagus nerve, you have different nerves. Your vagus nerve is one of the most important nerves in the human body. People who end up with things like hiatus hernia, people who end up with things like gastrointestinal problem, GERD, gastrointestinal reflux disease, and all those type of things, is usually a problem with the vagus nerve. But the thing is, your vagus nerve actually also crosses your lymphatic system, right? So in a case like that, you're going to have to do some sort of physical manipulation as well as some sort of cleanse and detox. And you should get some good results there where that's concerned.
Beautiful. All right, I think we're out of time for now.
Yes, until the next time, no problem. So keep in mind again those telephone numbers. Remember, we have our open clinic day. Remember, we have our pensioner special, so we're also working with your pockets. We have to take care of all the granny and grandfathers, and I mean that from my heart, because I always tell people these are the people who are responsible for us, so we need to take very good care of them, and that's something that Batson and Associates prides ourselves in doing. So, granny, grandfather, uncle, auntie, you need to get a little checkup. Those telephone numbers again, Shogunas is 222-8261. That's 222-8261. Debe is the corner of Ramsamut Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. That number is 223-7515, 223-7515. St. James is Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. That number for St. James is 220-8113. That's 220-8113. And Tobago, of course, is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number is 226-4553, 226-4553, 4553. Keep in mind, of course, those open clinic days and those telephone numbers. Again, our WhatsApp is 314-9975. As we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. To the listeners of Sky 99.5, thank you so very much for inviting me into your home. And I hope you would have learned something today. I hope I would have been beneficial to you, rather. And remember today, with all the macaroni pie and whatever, ensure that you have some salad on that plate. Lyndon, sir, it has always been a pleasure, sir. Till next week, God's willing. Take care. We'll be in touch.
Definitely.
Yes.